Thank you for your interest in our QuickBooks Link for ACT product called QBSalesData. Having separate ACT and QuickBooks databases that don't talk to each other is a major source of inefficiency and redundant work. Here's how the QBSalesData product makes your company more efficient. First, you link the records between ACT and QuickBooks using our QB Link wizard. I go to Tools, QB Link Wizard, and I get the following screen. We can link records between ACT and QuickBooks at the company level and also at the contact level. Let me go through and link ACT companies to QuickBooks records. Notice when I click on Load Data, it'll go through my database and match ACT company records with QuickBooks customer records and set the action to link when there's a match. At this point, I can click on Process and link those records. I could repeat that process at the contact level. Click on Load Data. It will find a match and set to link where there's a match. I also have the option of choosing other fields to match on. At this point, I can simply click on Process and process those records, and those are linked. In addition to that, if I have QuickBooks customer records that were never added to ACT, I can take care of that situation as well. From the Create from QB tab, I can click on Load Data, and that will show me any QuickBooks records that aren't currently linked to ACT records, and I can add those by clicking on the Create button. At this point, we've got all of our records between ACT and QuickBooks linked. We can now bring in data from QuickBooks. We give you the option of importing your data manually or setting up a nightly import process that happens automatically. Let's go through that manual import process. To do that, I go to Tools and QBSalesData Import. That will bring up the following window. From here, I can set my transaction sync filters by date range. In this case, we'll set it to the last 3 years, and I can simply click on the Transaction Sync button to bring that data over. It will bring over QuickBooks data for all the records in ACT that are linked to QuickBooks records. And when that's complete, we can pull up a an ACT record and see that data. So let me go ahead and do that. Okay, so we have Ace Pet Store Franchises, Colleen McCarthy's record, and let's take a look at the data that gets pulled in. First thing to note, in the upper right, all of the key accounts receivable information is in ACT fields, as well as the last invoice date. This makes it easy to pull up customers that haven't ordered from you in 6 months, for an example. And anytime your ACT users pull up a contact in ACT, they'll have this key information right at their fingertips. We also calculate the last 3 years of sales totals by month. On the Sales Data tab, you can see I have those fields. So your ACT users can quickly evaluate buying trends and compare sales with previous years for your customers. And on the QB Transactions tab, we show invoices, estimates, sales receipts, and credit memos. Those all come over into ACT. And you can double click on any of those items to display the detail. And best of all of that data synchronizes out to any ACT remote users that you may have set up in your system. So they don't need QuickBooks on their computers to see this information. But that's not all our QuickBooks Link can do. We can also take a record from ACT and use it to create a customer record in QuickBooks. So say goodbye to those days of having to do double entry and add information to both ACT and QuickBooks. Let's take a look at that. Let me pull up a record. And here we have Dave Leader from Advantage Leasing. He's purchasing from us for the first time, and we need to add his record to QuickBooks. I can simply use the QB Create Link button, and that will pull up the following window. This gives me the option to create a new customer in QuickBooks, as well as one-off linking between ACT and QuickBooks. At this point, I know that he's not in QuickBooks. I can click OK, and that will create a record in QuickBooks, and it will tell me that the record was created. So right with that one button, you're able to eliminate the double entry of creating records in QuickBooks. In addition to that, you may also want to invoice for Dave right away, and we can do that using the Create Invoice button on the toolbar. When I click on Create Invoice, I'll get the following window. This window mimics what the QuickBooks invoice window would look like. I can fill out the information on this window and when I'm ready, I can click on Save and Close, and we'll create that invoice in QuickBooks. Another great time saver. And lastly, we can push contact field changes between ACT and QuickBooks. So when a customer's address changes or they get a new phone number, you no longer need to change that in two places. To make that work, the first thing you need to do is tag the user in ACT by checking this box, QB Primary Contact. That tags which records synchronize fields between ACT and QuickBooks. We did that for Dave. Now at this point, let's change his suite number from 1000 to 2000, and his fax number from all 7s to all 8s, and hit Save. And to sync that contact information, I simply go to Tools, QBSalesData Import. It brings up that window again, and the lower left section gives me the options for customer data sync. I can push changes from ACT to QuickBooks or vice versa from QuickBooks to ACT, and I have some additional options here. And when I'm ready to sync, I simply click on the Sync button, and that will push those changes over from ACT to QuickBooks in this case. And if I close out of that and go to QuickBooks, I'll see that we have the Advantage Leasing record, the suite number has changed, the fax number has changed, we have that invoice that we created, everything that we've done has pushed over to QuickBooks. So you can run that utility on a regular basis to keep your QuickBooks and ACT databases in sync. I hope you've enjoyed this quick overview of our QBSalesData Quickbooks Link for ACT. If you're ready to make your ACT and QuickBooks users more efficient, this is the system for you. Visit www.qbsalesdata.com for more information, and thank you for your time.